There is a quiet language a woman speaks before she ever says what she feels. It is not found in grand declarations, dramatic confessions, or obvious flirting. It appears in the small moments most men ignore. The way she turns her body toward you in a crowded room, the way her shoulders relax when your voice becomes familiar, the way her eyes pause on you a little longer than necessary, and the way she allows her presence to soften when she feels safe. Most men are waiting for a woman to say the words clearly. They want confirmation. They want certainty. They want a sentence that removes all doubt. But attraction rarely begins with certainty. It begins with signals, quiet signals, human signals, signals that reveal comfort, curiosity, trust, and emotional openness before the mind is ready to explain what the heart has already started to feel. And if you learn to recognize these signs, not as tricks, not as guarantees, but as emotional patterns, you will understand something most men never truly learn. A woman's body does not lie about where she feels safe, where she feels seen, and where her attention naturally wants to return. But before we go deeper, understand this clearly. No single body language sign proves attraction by itself. A woman touching her hair, moving closer, showing her wrist, or holding eye contact does not automatically mean she wants romance. Context matters, comfort matters, timing matters, respect matters. Real emotional intelligence means you do not force meaning onto one gesture just because you want it to be true. You observe the whole pattern. You notice whether her energy opens or closes. You pay attention to whether she chooses closeness consistently or only out of politeness. You respect the difference between warmth and invitation, between friendliness and attraction, between comfort and deeper interest. This is what separates a mature man from a desperate one. A desperate man looks for proof. A mature man looks for connection. And that difference changes everything. Today, we are going to explore 9 subtle body language signals that may show a woman feels comfortable, attracted, emotionally open, or deeply curious around you. These are not magic formulas. They are not manipulation tactics. They are signs of human behavior, nervous system responses, and emotional communication. And signal number 7 is especially important because it reveals something most men completely misunderstand about feminine attraction. It is not always loud, direct, or obvious. Sometimes it is quiet, graceful, and hidden in the way her body relaxes when you enter her world. Think about a moment when you were speaking with a woman and the atmosphere changed. Maybe nothing dramatic happened. Maybe she did not compliment you. Maybe she did not touch your arm or say anything flirtatious. But suddenly, the space between you felt different. Her voice softened. Her eyes stayed a little longer. Her body seemed less guarded. The conversation slowed down, and for a second, it felt like the rest of the room faded into the background. You may have felt something before you understood it. That is because human beings read emotion before they interpret words. The body often understands connection before the mind gives it a name. And when a woman begins to feel something around you, especially if she is careful, guarded, or emotionally intelligent, she may not say it immediately. She may let her body test the safety of the moment first. Signal 1 is the neck reveal. This is one of the oldest and most overlooked signs of comfort. Imagine you are having a conversation with her. She is listening, engaged, and present. Then, almost naturally, she moves her hair to one side, tilts her head slightly, or leaves the side of her neck visible while continuing to look at you. To most men, this looks like nothing. They dismiss it as a random habit. But the neck is one of the most vulnerable areas of the human body. When people feel tense, threatened, or uncomfortable, they tend to protect it. They lower the chin, tighten the shoulders, cover the throat, or angle away. So when a woman relaxes enough to expose that area around you, it can suggest that her nervous system feels safe in your presence. It is not a confession, it is not a guarantee, but it is a meaningful shift. Her body is not guarding itself as strongly as it would around someone she distrusts. She may not be thinking, I am showing him my neck, but her body may be saying, I do not feel the need to defend myself here. And that is where attraction often begins, not in desire, but in safety. The important thing is how the gesture appears. If she exposes her neck while leaning away, avoiding eye contact, or looking uncomfortable, it means very little. But if she does it while staying engaged, smiling softly, holding your gaze, or relaxing into the conversation, then it becomes part of a larger emotional pattern. The neck reveal is not about seduction. It is about openness. It is one of those small signals that tells you her guard may be lowering. And a wise man does not rush that moment. He does not stare, exaggerate, or make her feel watched. He simply notices the softness, stays grounded, and allows her to feel even safer. Signal 2 is the open palm and wrist gesture. This one is subtle but incredibly revealing. When a woman feels closed off, defensive, or uncomfortable, her hands often become restricted. She may cross her arms, hide her hands, keep her palms down, or hold objects between herself and you. But when she feels more open, her hands become expressive. Her palms turn upward, her wrists become visible, her gestures become smoother, warmer, and more alive. Open palms have long been associated with honesty and receptivity. They communicate, "I am not hiding, I am not resisting, I am present." The inner wrist is delicate, and because the pulse is close to the surface there, exposing it can unconsciously signal trust and comfort. This is why a conversation feels different when someone speaks with open hands versus closed arms. Open hands create warmth. Closed hands create distance. If she is telling you a story, laughing, explaining something, and her hands naturally open toward you, she may be showing that she feels emotionally available in that moment. Again, this does not automatically mean romantic attraction, but when it appears alongside eye contact, genuine laughter, relaxed posture, and voluntary closeness, it becomes much more meaningful. Her hands may be revealing what her words are not ready to say. "I feel comfortable enough to be expressive with you." That is a powerful sign, especially if she is normally guarded with others. Signal 3 is the collarbone touch. This is one of those gestures that can be easy to misread if you do not understand emotional context. You are speaking with her, and as the conversation becomes more personal, her fingers drift toward the upper chest area. Maybe she adjusts a necklace. Maybe she touches the fabric near her collar. Maybe her fingertips rest near the collarbone for a brief second while she looks at you. This area of the body sits close to the throat and heart, which makes it emotionally expressive. People often touch this region when they feel self-aware, vulnerable, moved, nervous, or quietly attracted. The meaning depends on the energy around it. If the gesture is tense, fast, or paired with discomfort, it may simply be anxiety. But if it is slow, gentle, and paired with soft eye contact, relaxed breathing, or a small smile, it may indicate that she is emotionally aware of the moment between you. She may be feeling more seen than usual. She may be noticing your attention. She may be experiencing that delicate tension where comfort and attraction begin to overlap. The collarbone touch is rarely loud. It does not demand attention. It simply draws awareness to her presence in a graceful, understated way. A man with emotional intelligence does not make the moment awkward. He does not interrupt it with a forced line. He allows the silence to work. He lets her feel that she can be noticed without being pressured. Signal 4 is the shoulder release. This is where many men miss the difference between politeness and true comfort. A woman can smile politely while still keeping her body guarded, but when her shoulders begin to relax around you, something deeper may be happening. Shoulders carry tension. When someone feels defensive, anxious, or unsure, the shoulders rise, tighten, or angle away. When someone feels safe, the shoulders drop. The body becomes softer. The person seems more present. If you are sitting with a woman and the conversation moves from surface-level talk into something more honest, pay attention to her shoulders. Do they remain stiff, or do they slowly relax? Does she turn toward you? Does she seem to settle into the moment instead of preparing to leave it? A relaxed shoulder line can reveal that she is no longer holding as much emotional armor. She may remove a jacket, lean back comfortably, or allow her posture to become less formal. This is important because attraction does not grow well under pressure. It grows where there is ease. A woman who feels pressured closes down. A woman who feels safe opens naturally. The shoulder release is one of the clearest signs that your presence is not creating resistance. She is not forcing herself to remain polite. She is allowing herself to be there. And in relationships, that kind of ease is far more valuable than forced chemistry. A man who understands this does not try to intensify the moment too quickly. He protects the comfort that is forming. Signal 5 is body orientation. This is one of the most reliable nonverbal signs because it often happens without conscious planning. In a group setting, a woman may be talking to several people, laughing with everyone, and looking around the room. But if her body keeps orienting toward you, that matters. Her feet may point toward you. Her knees may angle in your direction. Her torso may subtly return to face you even when someone else is speaking. People tend to aim their bodies toward what interests them and away from what they want to avoid. The feet and knees are especially honest because most people are not carefully controlling them. Imagine you are in a room with several people. She is being friendly with everyone, but every time the group shifts, her body somehow ends up facing you again. She may not even realize it. Her attention may be socially distributed, but her orientation gives away where her interest naturally returns. This does not mean she is automatically attracted. Maybe you are leading the conversation. Maybe you are positioned in the most convenient place. But if her body consistently chooses your direction when it does not have to, and if that comes with warmth, eye contact, laughter, and openness, then it becomes a powerful part of the pattern. Her words may belong to the group, but her body may be telling you where she feels most engaged. Signal 6 is the self-presentation adjustment. This is when a woman subtly becomes more aware of how she appears around you. She may straighten her posture when you enter. She may smooth her clothing, adjust her hair, lift her chin, or become a little more composed. Many men overlook this because they expect attraction to look dramatic. But often, attraction begins with awareness. When someone's opinion matters to us, we naturally become more conscious of how we are being perceived. Men do this too. A man may stand taller, fix his shirt, lower his voice, or become more intentional around a woman he likes. Women may do the same in their own way. The key is noticing whether her self-adjustment happens specifically around you. Does her energy shift when you arrive? Does she become slightly more graceful, more attentive, more polished, or more present? That may suggest that your perception matters to her. She wants to be seen well by you, not necessarily in a superficial way, but in a human way. Attraction makes people want to present the best version of themselves. This signal becomes stronger when it is paired with eye contact or a shy smile after she adjusts herself. It is as if she becomes aware of being noticed and does not dislike it. That is an important distinction. A woman who feels uncomfortable being noticed will often close down or turn away. A woman who welcomes your attention may become more present inside it. Signal 7 is the relaxed feminine stance. This is the signal most men either exaggerate or misunderstand. They reduce it to physical attraction, when in reality it is more about confidence, ease, and how comfortable a woman feels in her own body around you. You may see her standing near you, shifting her weight to one side, resting into her posture, or turning slightly while still keeping her attention connected to you. It may look simple, but it can communicate a lot. When a woman feels tense, she may become rigid. When she feels uncomfortable, she may close her posture, angle away, or create space. But when she feels relaxed and confident, her body may settle naturally. She does not look like she is performing. She looks like she is comfortable being seen. This is powerful because attraction is not only about beauty, it is about energy. A woman who feels safe in your presence may allow her body to become more natural, graceful, and unguarded. She may not be consciously trying to send a message, but the message can still be felt. I am comfortable enough to relax here. This is why this signal can feel so strong. It combines confidence, presence, and ease. It shows that she is not hiding from the interaction. She is allowing herself to exist fully in it. But this is also where respect matters most. A mature man notices the signal without reducing the woman to her body. He sees the whole person, her comfort, her expression, her emotional state, her choice to remain present. That is what makes him different. Signal 8 is the mouth pause. This one is fast, quiet, and easy to miss. You are in conversation. The words are flowing naturally. Then, for a brief moment, she looks at your mouth, pauses, presses her lips together, smiles slightly, or touches her lips without seeming fully aware of it. This can be a sign of attraction, but it can also be a sign of thinking, nervousness, or emotional processing. So, as always, context is everything. The mouth is connected to speech, emotion, and anticipation. When a conversation becomes emotionally charged, people may become more aware of the mouth because the energy has shifted from simple talk into something more intimate. The mistake most men make is that they immediately treat this as a green light. That is immature. A lip pause is not permission. It is a possible signal of internal feeling. It may mean she is thinking about the moment. It may mean she is emotionally affected. It may mean the conversation has created tension she is processing. The real question is what happens after. Does she stay engaged? Does she smile? Does she look back at you warmly? Does she continue the conversation with softness? Does she remain close? If yes, the mouth pause may be part of a larger attraction pattern. It may show that something beneath the words is beginning to stir. A wise man lets the moment breathe instead of rushing to claim it. Signal 9 is chosen proximity. Of all the signs, this one may be the clearest because it is based on repeated choice. A woman can be polite from a distance. She can be friendly across a table. She can smile while keeping space. But when she consistently chooses to be near you, that means something. In a room with many places to stand, she ends up beside you. On a couch with extra space, she sits a little closer than necessary. During conversation, she leans in instead of pulling away. If your arms or shoulders briefly touch and she does not immediately create distance, it may suggest she feels comfortable in your personal space. But proximity must always be read with respect. Being close is not the same as giving permission for anything. It simply means she may feel safe enough not to move away. Your job is not to take advantage of that closeness. Your job is to remain calm, aware, and respectful. A woman notices how a man handles proximity. If he becomes pushy, intense, or impatient, she may close down. But if he remains grounded, relaxed, and considerate, her comfort can deepen. Chosen proximity is powerful because it is voluntary. She is not trapped there. She is not obligated to stand near you. She has options. And when she keeps choosing your space, the pattern becomes meaningful. It is one of the strongest signs that your presence feels good to her. Now here is where everything comes together. One signal means very little. Two signals may suggest comfort, but when several signals appear together, repeatedly and naturally, then you are seeing a pattern. If she turns her body toward you, relaxes her shoulders, exposes open palms, holds eye contact, adjusts her appearance around you, moves closer, and stays engaged, the message becomes much clearer. Her body may be communicating interest before her words are ready to confirm it. But the goal is not to become obsessed with decoding every movement. The goal is to become more emotionally aware. Most men fail because they want certainty too quickly. They want to know, does she like me or not? But attraction is not always a yes or no switch. Sometimes it is a process. Sometimes a woman is curious before she is certain. Sometimes she feels safe before she feels drawn. Sometimes she is drawn before she is ready to admit it. And sometimes she is simply friendly. This is why your ability to read context matters. A man who assumes too much becomes uncomfortable to be around. A man who notices without pressuring becomes magnetic, because he allows attraction to develop without forcing it. There is a deep difference between watching a woman and seeing her. Watching her feels like pressure. Seeing her feels like understanding. Watching her is about your desire. Seeing her is about her experience. A woman can feel the difference. She can sense when a man is studying her like a strategy, and she can sense when a man is present with genuine awareness. One makes her guarded. The other makes her feel safe. And safety is not boring. Safety is the foundation that allows real chemistry to grow. Without it, attraction becomes tension. With it, attraction becomes connection. So, when you notice these signals, do not become arrogant. Do not assume she owes you anything. Do not turn body language into a game of control. Instead, become more respectful, more present, and more emotionally intelligent. If she opens, let the interaction stay warm. If she leans in, do not overwhelm her. If she pulls back, respect the distance. If she seems unsure, slow down. A confident man does not need to chase every signal. He responds to the whole energy of the moment. He understands that attraction is a dance, not a demand. And this is why women often remember the man who made them feel seen, not the man who tried the hardest to impress them. They remember the man who noticed their comfort without exploiting it, the man who could feel the emotional shift without becoming needy, the man who gave them space to choose closeness freely. That kind of man stands out because he is rare. He is not desperate for validation. He is not trying to prove himself through pressure. He is grounded enough to observe, patient enough to understand, and respectful enough to let the connection unfold naturally. So let's review the 9 signs. The neck reveal may show comfort and trust. Open palms and wrists may reveal emotional openness. A collarbone touch may show self-awareness or subtle emotional tension. Relaxed shoulders may mean her guard is lowering. Body orientation may reveal where her attention naturally returns. Self-presentation adjustments may show that your perception matters to her. A relaxed feminine stance may communicate confidence and comfort around you. A mouth pause may reveal anticipation or emotional charge. And chosen proximity may show that she feels safe enough to be near you. But the real power is not in memorizing these signs. The real power is learning to read them with maturity. Attraction is not about finding one secret move. It is not about saying the perfect line. It is not about pretending to be someone you are not. It is about presence. It is about emotional awareness. It is about understanding that the human body often speaks before the human voice does. And when you learn to listen to that language respectfully, you become different from most men. You stop chasing confirmation. You start noticing connection. You stop forcing outcomes. You start creating comfort. You stop asking, how do I make her want me? And begin asking, does she feel safe, seen, and free to choose closeness with me? That question alone will make you more attractive than any memorized technique. The next time you are with a woman and the energy shifts, slow down. Do not panic. Do not rush. Do not overthink every tiny movement. Just observe the pattern. Is she opening or closing? Is she moving closer or creating distance? Is her body relaxed or tense? Does her attention keep returning to you? Does she seem more alive, more present, more comfortable when you are near? The truth is usually there. It is just quiet. And most men miss it because they are too focused on what they want to receive instead of what she is actually communicating. A woman's silent signals are not there for you to conquer. They are there for you to understand. When she softens around you, that is trust. When she stays near you, that is comfort. When she turns toward you again and again, that is attention. When several of these signs appear together consistently, you may be witnessing attraction before it becomes words. Handle that with care. Because the man who can recognize attraction and still lead with respect is the man who becomes unforgettable. If this video made you remember a moment you once felt but could not explain, write in the comments which signal stood out to you the most. Was it the neck reveal, the open palms, the body orientation, the mouth pause, or the way she chose to stay close? Share this with a man who needs to understand female psychology with more maturity and awareness. And subscribe, because in the next video, we are going even deeper into body language, emotional attraction, and the subtle signs a woman gives when she feels a real connection with you.